Okay, now the team members are leaving the Zurich car. So we're about to see this second run from car number 33. And off it goes, and wow, that car is flying. Have you seen that big cloud of dust it pushed up? That
Yeah,
was fast. Ooh, yeah. 3.342 seconds.
yeah, they gained half a second on themselves. I think we can really accept that aerodynamics works, at least lifting the air up. Hopefully that also pushes the car down. But yeah, quite aggressive. I think it was driving on the side, right? Like right next to the right side limit. But the perception system did a very good job of avoiding all the cones. It really looked close, but it worked.
Yeah, it was a really, really solid run, and like 3.342 seconds is a time that would be very competitive with driver already. So yeah, maybe we will see a 2 point ish time. That would be really awesome.
Yeah, I remember in our times competing, 3.2 seconds in Germany was a long-standing record. So not only would that get you first, it would get you first in several years. I think now these cars have gotten slightly faster with the years, but yeah, we're already at very competitive times. So guys, keep running, but keep it chill because we want to see everyone setting purple times here and there. So a bit of calm while Zurich are working to get their car back. They'll have to walk all these 75 meters plus the runoff back, which is gonna take a while when you're pushing these close to 200 kilos cars. And also seems quite calm there at Berlin in their EBS test. I don't think they are too stressed. Hopefully things are going according to the procedure.
Yeah, and I think Zurich seems to be happy with their two runs, so they're entering post scrutineering area and like try to validate their runs through post scrutineering. Very smart thing to do as well. And in the meantime, we have a failed EBS test for TU Berlin.
Yeah, do you think it was a fail from the EVS system itself, or did it seem to lean too much to the side and the driving the controls was the one that interrupted the test?
Yeah, I think it wasn't the EBS system itself. So the car just lost its focus.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned before about getting the rescrutineering done. That's quite important. I think a lot of teams do it, even interrupt the two in between the runs of their first driver sometimes. If you have a good one, before something unexpected happens, you can get out, spend some time in the rescrutineering area and have it validated. So you have that one on the scoreboard and it doesn't get taken away from you if you later have some technical issue that fails your rescrutineering.
Yes, like for instance, I think in Excel it's the most common thing to also get the data logger data in the system that you're not exceeded 80 kilowatts, um, to make sure like everything went all right there. Because it's like one of the events where all teams or almost all teams are reaching maximum power.
Yes, and if I understand the rules correctly, if you or cross the 80 kilowatts by more than the allotted time, which is very short anyway, they take away your best run. So if you do two, you may lose the best one if you have crossed the barrier, even if your best time was not the one that violated the rule. So there's some strategic choice to be had there, apart from the choice of how do you regulate your power limiter, which is also not as trivial. Like it's not like at home you can set the temperature on the thermostat and that's gonna be it. It's they want to drive to the limit, dance very close to the line, and never cross it more than necessary.
So looking into the re-scrutiny or post-scrutiny area, it seems like now they're doing some kind of inspection with their nose cone off. Interesting to see. What might have been the decision for that?
Yeah, maybe it's a visual inspection of the impact structure at the front of the car. Uh, it's obviously something that, apart from the default scrutineering at the start of the event, you don't really check because it's assumed to be always there. But it's good that they check that everybody still carries, obviously, the defensive devices to keep the driver alive, and also when you crash, that the energy is not absorbed by the car nor the static object, and that it just crushes this structure at the front. That it's meant to do that.
Okay, and it seems like they're attaching their nose cone again. So that seems like post-scrutineering is finished for now. In the meantime, let's have a look if TU Berlin is going to their next attempt for EBS test.
Yeah, and I see another car crossing the bridge. We still can't see which one it is, but it's probably coming either for testing, for driverless tests, or for running. So it depends which car it is. It will go to one destination or the other. And I guess we'll also see, depending on the rush for Zurich to get back on track, if the runs are safe or not. Eventually, we're gonna figure it out. But I'm quite sure that if they were a bit on the limit now, if they get out, they'll make sure that they fulfill the rule by a bit of margin next time to reduce a bit the uncertainty of something going on.
So in the car, I think I saw a 27 on the car. This is Bern also pushing to the test track. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, I think we haven't heard TU Delft running. Maybe they did, but the sound didn't reach us. So either they are working or they've been having some fun in there. And Bern's gonna join them. I guess they're also eager to hit the track as soon as the manual acceleration is available, because they got, according to the time scoring, second place yesterday in Skidpad. So very solid start of their local competition. And yeah, they're giving so far a very good impression. They could be very competitive.
And there's the next car getting pushed over the bridge. So slowly but surely, the dynamics area is getting filled with more and more teams.
I think we should request that they come with a flag with their team colors so we can see them from afar. I think here in Switzerland it's quite a unique location that the pits are on the other side of a small forest. So as soon as they come slowly, we see them crossing a bridge and we can announce 5 or 10 minutes ahead who's coming, which makes it also more complicated than in other competitions. If you're repairing your car until the very, very last minute, you really have to plan on this walk. So a smart team captain would take a clock and check how fast they can make it at walking pace, getting the car on track.
Yeah, I think you need at least 10 minutes from the pits, right? You're not as fast as you would be walking normally. Then you have to like carry the car over the rail from the train here as well. Then you'll have to take account the train schedule so that the crossing is also not closed. That could you lose you up to 5 minutes as well. So
Yes, I think we couldn't have made it more stereotypically Swiss. Uh, Train crossing with some actually quite nice trains crossing by with some regional colors. So you can see that this is a very touristy area because the trains have local publicity of the touristic locations around. We have cowbells in the background constantly the whole day. I think we're only missing some church bells, and that would be the authentic Swiss experience. But we'll do with just these amazing views of the mountains that we have here. I'm sure all the teams are taking some team pictures this week that are looking quite amazing with their car and this amazing backdrop. So far, no news from Berlin. They're still working at it. I think there must be potential if they don't take the car out of the dynamic area, so probably just working on it.
and from what I see, that seemed to be a yellow stripe on the rear wing, so that could be competition for our driverless acceleration event. Is it or is it not Karlsruhe pushing in? Guys, wave to us if you're Karlsruhe and yes, 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 yes. Good morning. Love to see you here.
Yes, I think they probably see that they can beat these 3.3 seconds themselves. Um, let's see what they do with their strategy. Maybe they also do a conservative lap first and then immediately go back to do a push lap and get some pressure on Zurich. They anyway have about 2 hours left, so there's going to be back and forth for sure.
Yeah, I think it's the wise choice to get one secure lap in just to get the minimum amount of points to get ahead of everyone who hasn't been running yet, and then after slowly but surely pushing to the limit because I think failure in acceleration could get dangerous very, very quickly, although we have a big run of area here. so no walls whatsoever. Well, one small one, but that's yeah, really nice for driverless acceleration actually.
Yeah, I think it's also quite good to have some points on the table quite early, because it wouldn't be the first time that a car breaks down for the rest of the week already on the first dynamic events. Technical issues happen all the time. So yeah, it's good to try to get some points, and especially now since there's so few teams here right now that are in a competitive state. You can get a podium just from showing up and getting a time. And now we're gonna stop briefly our racing podcast to give a bit of time to publicity.
Hello, guys. As you were all wondering, probably, what are Yoon and myself preparing? Um, for everyone who is participating in the business plan and wanted to know, like, what is our qualification to judge it, Jon will prove his knowledge tonight. If you want to kind of join us, like, roughly at a half an hour before the officially award ceremony begin, we will have a mic check, and Jon will present why he is chosen as our chief business plan. So he will have the presentation, 10 minutes as the rules are compliant, and we will have an open 10 minutes Q&A session for all of you guys to kind of challenge him on his level, on his presentation skills, and of course you are happy to send us some representatives of your teams to have like a jury and to rank him, and I'm quite confident that it's gonna be perfect. But like, just if you want to challenge our chief business plan guy, like, he's happy to compete tonight and prove his skills.
I think it's quite commendable to put yourself in the spot and really demonstrate your skill sets. I'm sure he doesn't feel any pressure at all. I will myself not put myself on the starting line to drive any of these crazy cars. I think I would do a much worse job, but good luck to Jon.
I mean, Jan's ego would need like a second bench, but like, he will have the whole stage for himself. Like, there's no need for having a business plan partner at all. Like, he will fill the room, he will present it. I'm quite confident that he will prove his position. And also, like, thanks to all our sponsors who make this possible. Like, no joking, guys. Like, really, we are happy to host Norlem on site. Guys, if you're kind of in the need of a nice coffee or like having like some spare time, just watch over from the pits towards the Norlem truck. They're happy to answer some question. Maybe they have some information what to do after like a Formula student year or kind of your whole season. But shout out to them. It's really nice having you here on site.
Thank you, Sarah. Good advice. Don't forget, after all this dream is over, you still have to come back to real life, get a job. But let's forget about this for the next couple of days and have some fun. The rest of the world doesn't exist. We just want to see very cool cars doing very good lap times.
Yeah, and to all the guys sitting in the sun there the last hour, make sure to stay hydrated. Make sure to apply sunscreen. Um, we don't want to have any medical interferences, and I don't mean that as a joke. Like,
Yeah, and please, guys, check your allergies. Like, I get like peanuts are great, but if you're allergic to nuts, don't eat some chocolate here. Like most of the Swiss chocolate has nuts in it, and or if you're allergic to whatever, don't eat uncommon food. We are prepared for that case, as we maybe stated that and proved in the past days, but we would highly recommend not to eat strange food if you have any kind of food allergies.
Yes, it's also the start of the season. The racing season's long. Many of you are going to 2, 3, 4 events. Make sure to stay healthy. You shouldn't get completely dead from the first one. So try really hard to get all the points you can, but it's an endurance race also for your own bodies to reach September in a in as good of a state as possible. I think we're gonna turn our podcast into more like a proper live stream now because I'm seeing very good quality from the video right now. So as soon as some further cars show up in the dynamic area, you're probably gonna be able to see some very nice racing.
yeah, big shout out to our technical staff there. They were working like the last day and the last night completely to get the best live stream we have available.
Yeah, they should take more credit than they do. We're just here to banter, but they actually are doing some actual work. It can't be seen on the live stream, but in the meantime, we've seen TU Berlin attempt once again the EBS test, and once again, it seemed that the car leaned immediately to the left, which I think is probably a fail for their test, as I think the EBS test is meant to go in a straight line and then lock all the wheels with the emergency braking system. So let's see. They are taking the push bar now, and let's see where they go to try to fix this current issue that they're having.
Yeah, in the meantime, I hear a car running in the testing area. It seems to be that TU Delft is going for their first technical test this morning. So the car's running. It's running like in a slalom in the testing area, and yeah, so they're getting ready for autocross later.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky to use the testing area for acceleration. You can do some launches if you place yourself diagonally, which I think is what they are doing now. It seems like the drivers stop in the middle of the track and trying to set up for a launch, unless something is going wrong. But yeah, you can't do much because you don't have that much distance and you have to always account for some safe braking. But I'm sure they use these launches to test their traction control for the launch, which yeah, maybe the conditions that they have in the testing area are quite similar. It's the same track and probably the same amount of dust. So if they can get the tuning there correctly, probably it's also going to work well here on the starting line for the manual acceleration in a couple hours. In the meantime, we have, I think, 1 hour 45 left for driverless acceleration, so still plenty of time. But you guys know you shouldn't wait too long. Oh no, I think the EBS test can be seen on camera. I see the TU Berlin car. So you get to see in the foreground the end of the acceleration track and then the EBS test. So it's also quite nice to the viewers from home that they can also see a bit of action, as right now there isn't much.
So when we have another car crossing the bridge right now, and do I see a black car with orange stripe? I haven't seen the number yet, but if you're from Munich, then give us a loud cheer and wave at us for a second. Yeah, that's Munich. So good morning, guys. Welcome to Driverless Acceleration. We're thrilled to see you here in a few minutes.
Yeah, they kind of have to do a driver's parade, but ironically, this is a driverless category, so it's more like a car parade all around the grass before they are able to reach the dynamic area. For our viewers at home, you probably are watching the live stream with nothing going on, and it's exactly because right now nobody's taking action. I think all the teams that are right outside the dynamic area are quite concerned about temperature management, as the heat is attacking us quite harshly, and for them keeping the car in the correct temperature window and the drivers that are inside the car also a bit safe from dehydration and heat stroke. So hopefully they're doing a good job with that with their tents and umbrellas. And we're gonna keep our fingers crossed so that they can make it on the track as soon as possible. Also, we have quite a few teams that are very close to finishing their scrutineering that we didn't see yesterday. So also we keep them in our thoughts that they can make the journey all the way back from the scrutineering pits on the dynamic track at some point today.
Yeah, talking about teams and scrutineering, I've seen a social media post from CTM Innsbruck that they are trying to finish all their scrutineering today. So fingers crossed to them. We would love to see you here later in the acceleration and autocross event.
Yeah, they have quite a good track record here in Switzerland. So we know that all the other teams are looking at them. If they hit the track, they're going to put some competitive times. So hopefully they finish with their current challenges, as well as Bombay, who was here yesterday. We already saw them set one lap. And it looks like Auckland, KTH, and Manipal could also be close to finishing their sticker sheet, which is how we know that they got all their scrutineerings passed. Okay, and we have finally a second competitor for the driverless acceleration. That's TU Berlin, who overtook Karlsruhe outside of the track, technically, because Karlsruhe showed up here first. It seems like TU Munich got their car ready a bit earlier, and they seem to be quite eager to get in because the driver doesn't carry an umbrella anymore. So they don't want to stay in that state for very long. Creative placement for their T-Sal green sign, that the job of the driver is to hold it in place.
If he's holding it like that, does he steer with his knees like a proper dad running into summer vacation?
I'm not sure, but at least I'm sure it complies with the spirit of the rule, which should be sufficient. So let's see now if they pass these pre-run checks from the scrutineers. There seems to be some different items on the menu. They're related to tire pressures, and how well placed are your wheels on the car, or if there's too much compliance sideways from your suspension, which should be a trivial issue if you built your car correctly. I don't think that should be too much of a problem for Too Fast, and they should hit the track anytime soon.
And TU Munich is pushing to the starting line for their first DV acceleration run.
Yeah, I think it's going to be visible on the live stream, even with a few seconds delay, because the live stream, the car is still static in the queue, but here we have it approaching the starting line and being placed at the correct spot.
A creative way to place your steering wheel, like getting held in place by the antennas of the car.
I mean, at this point, these cars are getting so fancy, so high tech. Pretty much everything on the car is expensive and delicate. I don't think there's an easy way to place anything on the car without risking a scratch. So obviously no tools, but other delicate parts, I think it's fair. The elves seems to be enjoying themselves in the dynamic area. I guess they're gonna require a charging after this if they drive so much and they want to have high voltage at the start of their acceleration runs in about 1 hour and a half. We'll see when they show up. I mean, there's plenty of time. Hopefully they take that into account in their planning. Not that easy when you have to manage all these things, having the car being in a perfect state, proper charge everywhere, tires, temperatures also in your window. You can't do much, but you can also warm them up with the sun. This is allowed. And also you need to get your drivers to be in the best state possible for driving. Okay, seems like the procedure is going correctly for Team Munich. There's only one remaining team member who's gonna switch on everything. That must be the high voltage switch. We see the blinking red light. EBS is ready. And we should see a run anytime. So let's see what time they can achieve on their first lap.
And the tractive system is active, but they kind of are not running yet. So maybe they're having technical difficulties as of now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the car has understood the mission or is in the correct state, waiting for some error to clear. No, they activated the remote emergency system, and that means they either gonna try again as they are or take away the car and see what was going on. I think the guys from TU Munich are using the fact that there's nobody waiting behind them to connect to the car and double check something. But in the meantime, Karlsruhe showed up also. So they may have to remove the car from the starting line if Karlsruhe shows that they are ready before. But I bet we're going to see once again a tire check for their pre-scrutineering procedure. Which, what do you think, Dennis? May this be a hint that the same check's going to be performed in the manual acceleration, or will the scrutineers pull another card from the deck and bring up new ideas?
I think they will bring up new ideas because it would be kind of an unfair advantage to the teams already running if they already knew what to prepare for. So I think there's plenty of room in pre-inspection to yeah, just have a look at the car. And yesterday it was IMD. I'm not exactly sure what they're checking now. They're taking tire pressures now. So according to the newer brake test rules, you're just allowed to have like 1 bar less tire pressure than in the brake test. So maybe this is one thing they're checking now. So we don't run in acceleration with like almost completely deflated tires.
So it is a gamble when you go do your brake test. You have to, obviously, you want to have hard tires to pass the test with ease. But if you go too hard, it's going to compromise the rest of your event.
Exactly, yes.
Seems like we're not running out of strategic calls for every team to make. I'm sure their team captains are going to be debating for the whole week what to do, and hopefully also taking input from the team members who are specialists in each discipline or each aspect of the car. Let's
And
see.
from what I see, Bombay got their electrical rescrutineering and they have their sticker back, and they should be viable or allowed to run in the uh, normal acceleration event later.
Yeah, so hoping that at least the 8 teams from yesterday are also doing the runs and that we can add some on top. Oh, Berlin is trying, and they hit a cone, but they stood a bit more in a straight line than before. What do you think? Is that chance to be successful?
No, I think it's still not good, but they're clearly improving. So they still have like 1.5 hours until driverless acceleration closes. So maybe they're getting it fixed until then.
Yeah, after missing skid pad driverless, it's gonna be hard to fight for the overall podium in the driverless cup. But obviously, getting a bunch of points serves a lot. First one for their placing in the driverless cup, and second because then they would go to the next competition with a lot more confidence if they pass the ABS test here. So it will be quite a positive outcome for them if they manage to do this morning.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we only have one valid time yet for driverless acceleration. So Munich and Karlsruhe are standing here, yes, but they haven't run yet.
Yeah, that's true. There's 2 places in the podium that are free to take right now with not much performance. You can already take another trophy home. You just need to make it to the starting line and be able to turn on the car, which is not trivial. But let's see now if Munich is able to do it. I think they disconnected their laptop. That must mean that they have some confidence that they can do it in this current attempt. So let's see. Now they're turning on the main switch, which should give way to the red blinking light that indicates a high voltage system engagement, the EBS. And if we hear the buzz, that would mean the autonomous system takes control of the car. Yes, there we go, fingers crossed.
And off it goes.
Yeah,
And
not
that's the safe run we were talking about. Ooh, and the car seems to have run over something or
yeah,
or
there's
dropped something, yeah.
there's something on the ground, but I like that even though it seemed to be a banker lap at the beginning, it accelerated towards the end. So not a trivial time. They seem to have 8.7 seconds. It's not a lot of points, but it is so far second place. So very nice. They overcame the first obstacle of the day, which was starting the first lap. Let's see what that component.
It's the Teasel green sign.
Could it be that they forgot it on the car on the side pod or something?
Yes.
It's not, I would say, not a big deal in terms of a big violation of the rules, but maybe that makes the run invalid. Let's see what the scrutineers are going to say about that. A bit unfortunate.
Yeah, they're heading back to the race control trailer and having a little talk there. In the meantime, the 4 guys of Munich making their 100-meter way to their car.
Yeah, much slower than their own car. So this 8.7 seconds still beats them. And now we're going to see the response from Karlsruhe. Let's see what their strategy is. I'm not sure what Munich will do. So as you can see on the camera, Karlsruhe got themselves to the starting line, and I bet their plan is to do 2 runs and get out to validate by rescrutineering, hopefully with no issues. And while they're waiting to do that, TU Munich's getting the car away from the track, and since they've shown that they can do the run, now they must be eager to get a valid one that is not interrupted by any issue. Okay, so after a short break, I think we got Karlsruhe ready to go. And they take off. Oh, it seems like they had to activate the remote emergency brake because they went to the side. So very aggressive from the beginning, but sadly the steering system couldn't correct and went sideways. On the bright side, I think it's commendable that the car didn't even completely leave the track. So they activated the system quick enough. The car didn't lean out too much. So it was all done in a safe procedure. As you can see on camera, the car is still within frame. So nice job on this side to keep the competition safe. And now they're probably gonna not do their second run. And we see Munich that's rolling back in. We've seen they can do it. No mistakes now. No.
Yeah, there were two different approaches on the run, right? Like Munich having like that safe banker run, and then car racing who were like full throttle and risking it all on the first first event they have, or on their first run. So it will be interesting to see if car racing might change their approach now that it didn't work out in the first try. But I guess from what we saw from Munich, who are getting ready now, that Munich will be a bit faster than last time, because in the end of the acceleration run, the cars seem to accelerate a bit more than in the beginning.
Yeah, maybe Karlsruhe's intent was to not have to tune the steering system for low speed and just go for the speeds that they have practiced. So straight from the get-go to do what they know the car can do. But I see some preparations from Munich, cleaning tires, aligning the car, now trying to be as precise as they can with all their procedures, activating the EBS, turning on high voltage. Yes, there we have the red light. So I think they're good to go. Walking away into a safe distance, and let's see what they can do now.
I think they're waiting on the camera guys to fully release the Munich car because they're currently standing on the left of the track. So the camera guys can just go behind the barrier for 1 second. Yeah, but they don't seem to get the message.
Okay, now we're gonna have a clear track, and hopefully that didn't compromise Munich's run. Yes, it seems to be ready to go.
And off it goes, and that is a different approach. And ooh, the car brake like in front of the finish line.
Yeah, maybe it didn't count the distance correctly. I'm not sure what they are using for counting.
Yeah, they had lots of wheel spin in the beginning, so if they're calculating with tire rotation, they might have got it wrong on the calculation there. So too much slip in the beginning, and the track is still very dusty. We've seen like a big cloud of dust was thrown up.
Nonetheless, they got themselves a 6.3 seconds, and it seems like this time this is so far a valid run. So they got this already, unlike in their previous attempt. So that's not too bad. A step forward, and Karlsruhe is coming to do also a step forward. Let's see what they can do in the next minutes.
Yeah, and it starts to get busy around here in the dynamics area because Zurich is also back on track. So after their first two runs, they're trying to improve their currently best time from 3.34 seconds.
Yeah, I'm sure they know they have a bit more from testing experience or knowing that there is some margin that they can still tune up their car. And they're not going to wait outside for Karlsruhe and Munich to take their place, their position in the ranking without them being able to respond.
So now, of course, Karlsruhe has to wait until the track is cleared by Munich. But it seems like they're pushing already back to the queue or to the post-scrutineering area.
Yes, technically this is their second attempt, so maybe they must do post-scrutineering. It may not even be a choice.
Yeah, and then we also still have the TU Berlin car in the EBS testing area. So I don't know how they're scheduling those. I don't know if they can run it in parallel.
Berlin seems to be still working on it, so they have some hope that they can sort it out there without having to go back to the pits. So that gives me a bit of hope. And let's see where Team Munich's gonna slot their car. But now they have cleared the track. So as soon as Karlsruhe gets an okay, they're gonna be able to also do their first run of the morning.
And there goes Karlsruhe again, and now they keep it in a straight line, and the car comes to a hold after the finish line, and that was a pretty quick run. It seems to be like under 4 seconds. Yeah, like 3.85 seconds for Karlsruhe in their second run.
Yes, they're matching the first run from Zurich, so they seem to be on track to match their competitors and able to fight for the first place, which they were trying to do also yesterday. So let's see how far they can bring the fight. But Zurich just shows up, and before Karlsruhe is going to be able to do their second run, they're already going to respond, try to improve on their own current P1.
Yeah, in the meantime, Munich is in the post-scrutineering area. So they're pushing the car out of the dynamics. Also here, nose cone got off, so they're measuring the anti-intrusion or the impact attenuator.
Interesting that this is quite a different configuration from Too Fast from the cars that I remember from a few years ago. They used to have such a high pointing nose. Now they seem to be doing the opposite, pointing down and placing their impact attenuator as low as they are legally allowed.
I think there was a rule change in bodywork that those high noses were kind of forbidden, or it is hard to get those high noses in legal anymore. So yeah, they had to change, and I think next year we will have some major changes in aerodynamics. So we will see. I'm looking forward to it. We will see a few like really nice new looking cars next year.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the cars, if the design approach of the teams is going more to the basics and adapt as quick as they can to the new rules, or do something more keeping a continuous line from their current design and just expanding it to the next boundary boxes that they have. So maybe that will increase the diversity of cars for next year. But we see that the teams that run cars in so long, they definitely have a style of designing, even though their aerodynamics teams are changing relatively often. There seems to be some continuous style that they keep.
And now Karlsruhe is pushing back as well. So let's see if they're going into the post-scrutineering as well, or if they're choosing to do another run directly after. And as soon as they've cleared their way, Zurich will be able to start their third run of the day.
Yeah, I would be happy if Karlsruhe comes back at it again and they make a big bet on themselves and put good time and try to clear both and they're scrutineering at the same time. From their point of view, they may not know if Zurich cleared the rescrutineering earlier, which we don't know also for sure. And the challenge stays that you have to do your best time, try to get the rescrutineering passed, and hopefully nobody challenges you on either aspect.
Yeah, and it seems like Karlsruhe is also pushing in the post-scrutineering area, so they will improve their car outside of the dynamics area. And Zurich has a red blinking light, so they will start their acceleration run soon.
There's the bus. Ah, no, that doesn't seem to be the bus that leads to a run start. Was it too slow and was activated externally, or did it fail on its own? Let's see what they do about that. They disconnected some system because the fans turned off. And probably Karlsruhe is looking for the tool to remove the nose cone. This seems to be a bit more complicated than in other cars since their LiDAR is installed right there. I wonder how flexible the nose has to be to go around the impact attenuator and the LiDAR all at the same time, or how many things they have to disassemble at the same time. That doesn't seem as easy as with other cars.
It seems like Zurich is trying again now, so fingers crossed that this will be successful from the get-go.
Yeah, that's the right sound. So now it should take off in no time. Now it seems like we jinxed it again. I wonder what the issue is. But we know they can do it, and we know they can solve their problems. Yesterday they had to reset a few things after they started getting the runs in skid pad. So let's see what they can do now in the next bit less than 1 hour. And they better solve this soon so that they can also focus on the manual acceleration, which I'm sure they also want to get a good time on.
Yeah, but from now they're pushing the car out, as it seems, because they're getting their push bar attached to the car. So
Yeah, no run. I think they can skip the rescrutineering and get to work a bit quicker. Seems like Karlsruhe is having a bit of a harder time getting the things disassembled for the rescrutineering, which may play against them if it's complicated enough, because that's going to limit the number of runs they can do. Or maybe they have cleared the rescrutineering already. Yep, seems to be the case. Okay, hopefully they get back in soon. And we're left with no cars in the dynamic area, but I'm sure the 3 teams that have current times in the scoreboard are working right outside to try to make the best use of the next hour, while we're still hoping that TU Berlin, who's still working on their car in the EBS test area, also can clear this test and they can join us in the queue. And to our viewers at home, don't worry, the video is not frozen. The cars didn't completely give up. We just have no action on track. But I see some movement outside of the dynamic area, so maybe we're gonna see some people coming in soon. They have about 43 minutes left, and I would bet that none of the teams that have run have done yet their best possible. So they probably all are trying to find a way to tune their car, maybe go a bit more aggressive, and try to get some run successfully finished and successfully scrutinized to improve on their current position. I can still hear Delft in the testing area, and I wonder how to take so much action from them if it's them tuning over and over, trying to improve on their car state, or trying to clear some error that they keep encountering. In either case, hopefully that leads them to some better outcome than otherwise. So that would be nice.
Yeah, they have positioned their car diagonally, so I think they're doing some axle test runs, or well, limited axle test runs.
Mm.
Because we're not that far away from the with driver acceleration, right? How long do we have for
41 minutes. 41. So if you intended to do an early run and you're in the pits, it's about time to start packing your tools, getting all your teammates ready, and start coming over. I bet in about 20 minutes we'll start seeing cars crossing the bridge all over again.
So, and we had a bit of a break, but now Too Fast and Karlsruhe are pushing in the dynamics area again. And it seems like Too Fast got their Teasal green badge back. Now securely attached to the main hoop.
Yeah, I bet they're not gonna do the same mistake, at least during this season. Only once per mistake per season at least, and hopefully if you do proper knowledge transfer, only once in your team history and never again. But yeah, let's see who clears the pre-inspection first. In principle, Munich should have priority since I think they are in the first, let's say, first driver queue, because they have, I know, they have done the same number of attempts technically. They both have 2. So it should be pretty much either by order of showing up or clearing the pre-inspection.
Yeah, and now the Teasal green badge is securely in the push bar case. So no mistakes there to be expected.
Only new mistakes, but none of the old ones. What do you think? Do you think Amzet will try to get back in the queue before these cars are setting new times? I mean, there is a danger that they do better than a 3.3. I think it's quite realistic to expect that either of those two could challenge them for P1. And that's a lot of points for the Driverless Cup.
Well, the 33 car is still here, very close by, so I think they have all the time to react to a new best time if we see one. I think Munich has some big potential to improve. I think all the car has to do is brake 10 meters later, and we will see a sub 4 seconds time.
Okay, it seems like Munich has engaged their systems. And there they go. And I think this time they got it right. Very nice, very competitive. And as expected, they are on par with Zurich with a 3.332, which I think it brings them ahead. So P1 for Munich. But yeah, good job from Munich. I guess it would be smart to validate this run with a rescrutineering.
On the other hand, Karlsruhe seems to have disappeared, so they pushed out again.
Yeah, I'm wondering what kind of issue they saw when they were in the waiting line that they didn't see before as they were outside.
Yeah, and it seems that scrutineers are already standing by the Karlsruhe car at the exit of Dynamics.
Maybe this is a setup for a repeat from yesterday where we see all three cars lined up as the clock runs down. So everybody gets a last chance. It would be nice if we did that, but this time all three cars got a time on the last minute to compensate for the long break of pretty much half an hour we had in the middle. I'm quite glad to see that Munich, even though they got out of the dynamic area, they didn't go back to the pits. So either they're setting up already for manual acceleration or they still keep themselves ready. There's 27 minutes left. So pretty much time for everyone to take action now. There's always a lot of people standing around the car. It's hard to see the people that are actually working, so you can't really tell how much action there is around the cars. and if there's a chance to see them again. And in the meantime, we haven't seen much from Berlin, but the guys have been working on it since we mentioned them last time. Yeah, thanks for cheering. We're hoping you guys are successful there. You have 27 minutes still to go, and you could grab some very nice points in acceleration, so keep it up. Okay, we seem to have Karlsruhe back in. We've only seen one successful run from them, apart from the one where they took a couple cones with no visible damage to their front wing. So hopefully that gets them to the starting line very soon. They are currently in P3 with a lot of potential, and I would bet a lot of easy points for them to grab. We'll see that the front is crowded at 3.3. I'm not sure how close they can get there, but as they are standing now at 140 points, they have about 85 that they could still grab and improve on their overall standing for the Driverless Cup.
And I think before Karlsruhe is getting cleared from pre-scrutineering, it seems like TU Berlin is getting another go at their EBS test. So I hope they will make it so that they can get here last minute for an acceleration run.
Yes, this would be the right time to be able to set up for acceleration without too much rush. I hope they have the right tires set up, or they have the second set ready to go in.
Yeah, in the meantime, Zurich is also pushing back in for another acceleration run. I think they want to improve to reclaim first position.
Yeah, only 2 points separating them from Munich, but of course these 2 points are worth a different color of a trophy, which I'm sure they are quite interested in getting.
And Karlsruhe is pushing to the starting line.
Guys, from car racing, can we get like a shout of power fuel? Like, I haven't heard that in a while. So, is the team attending or is it just you guys? Okay, you definitely have to train on that performance. Like, I can only see like one because race car t-shirt standing right behind our box. And he's busy chatting with AMZ. Like, that's a rare kind of occasion. They seem friendly. They seem like really into deep talk.
Guys, don't forget that Formula students about race cars, but also about your team culture. So don't lose the traditions. But we have 3 winner teams fighting for this driverless acceleration. So one could say that their tradition is also about winning, and they all are gonna fight now to see who keeps it alive.
So it seems like Berlin has pushed back, and Karlsruhe is getting the go here for their third run, right?
Yes, technically third, but they only have one successful one so far.
In the meantime, we see more and more teams getting the cars into dynamics area for the upcoming acceleration runs.
Yes, Rennstall is already outside in the tents, waiting. I'm not sure if they did some test area, but I bet during the 1 hour and a half that we're gonna have of manual driving, we're gonna have a much more crowded dynamic area.
And now Karlsruhe goes off, and that looks also really, really quick. And ooh, that's an off track.
I'm not
At
sure
the
if it
end.
counts, but I think they can be quite happy about the time they got, a 3.475, so that reduces the distance by quite a lot. So good job, guys.
Car number 73, that should be E-Trex Düsseldorf pushing in the dynamics area. So let's have a quick look if they only need brake test.
E-Tracks, according to the scrutineering sheet, they don't have the egress sticker. That may be a mistake if they're coming for brake test, because obviously that would be cleared before. They don't have I don't see the brake test sticker, but if they can do it now, they could take full advantage of the manual acceleration. So best of luck for them. And in the meantime, Zurich is getting aligned. They will still have to wait for Karlsruhe to get away. So last couple minutes of preparation, last choices on how to do this. And let's see what they can do. Okay, it seems like we have a switch of positions. AMZ wasn't able to start the run. And now with 13 minutes left, everybody's gonna be a bit on a rush to see what they can do with the time left. And Kit, it has shown that they are willing to go in, so they're standing in the queue. And let's see if Munich has stuck around long enough to also do a last push. And there they are, also lining for the queue. So it's gonna be again a three-way standoff to the very end. And the best that could happen is everybody gets a very good time, so we can see full potential from all three cars, and whoever takes the trophy can do with a lot of pride.
And it seems like Zurich has pushed the car back on the starting line, so interesting to see what their reasoning behind that is.
I don't know how they're gonna manage the start of the manual acceleration if at 11:30 we have cars in the queue, if they're still gonna let them finish the driverless acceleration. Okay, let's see what Zurich can do. I'm sure they are aware that if they manage to do a run and are quick walking back the car, they could still get technically on the queue again. And that looked good for Berlin. It stayed on track, it stopped the car, and they seem to be cheering.
Yes,
so
they're cheering.
Good job, good job. Please bring the car in the queue. You have 11 minutes left. If you can turn on the acceleration mode, you could still get some points in the scoreboard. So a four-way final for the driver's acceleration, much better than anticipated.
And then I think
Well-earned success. And if they manage to get the car on the acceleration queue for driverless, that would be 80% of the participating teams in the driverless cup, which would be very successful. I'm not sure any competition has ever achieved such a high percentage of finishing cars. Okay, time for Zurich. Now for them to show what they can do. High voltage is on, EBS is on. And let's see. That's the buzzing sound. And they take off. Very good, very aggressive from the start. Stayed within the cones and it looked very nice. Let's see what the time. It's a 3.252. They retake P1. Okay, and next in line is going to be Munich. We have 8 minutes left. Hopefully everybody's aware and also the car recovery goes as quick as possible because we would like to have as many runs as possible before the time is over. Okay, so here comes Munich, walking ahead of Zurich. Sorry, Berlin. Let's see if they steer right into the queue straight away for a quick pre-inspection before they can run. I really hope they are ready for this. Regardless of the tires at this point, just do whatever you can, guys. And Zurich, walk as fast as legally possible. I think technically there's 6 minutes, so you could get another run if you clear the track quick. And I would allow Munich to also run their own chance. I'm sure they're eager to take another 10th away from their best time.
And Berlin is pushing directly in the queue, so maybe we will get the Berlin miracle here in the last minute.
Okay, Munich is ready. I see the red blinking light and the ASR is ready and awaiting a signal. So this final's not over. Yeah, there we go with a buzzing sound. Show us what you can do.
Yeah, and the the Munich car was a bit indecisive in the start whether to get off or not.
Yeah, we've seen this issue before. I wonder what it is in their control algorithm if the state machine doesn't reach the full push state and if they get stuck in some kind of launch control situation at the start. Maybe the grip is not exactly what they were expecting. The mode is incorrectly set up or somehow the target doesn't get passed for what speed to go for. And now the clock is ticking, so 4 minutes. I think they would like to have another run because the performance there, but now it's turn for Karlsruhe. This is getting exciting. More often runs. That should be a lesson again, as we say every year, for everyone. Get your runs as soon as possible so you don't have to be under pressure at the end. Of course, we're having fun now, but we want to have all the teams do all the runs for the manual acceleration. So take that into account. It's going to be only 90 minutes, very cramped in time. So let's see what now Karlsruhe can do. Okay, an update on the weather. It seems like still for the morning session we're gonna keep this sunny weather and with low wind, which we really appreciate. Although now the wind would be working in favor of the team since they are driving towards the north from where the wind was coming yesterday. But the rain forecast for the afternoon